Daniel Opdyke, I believe it is, or if I mispronounced that. Daniel, you'll have 3 minutes, and you'll be followed by Rebecca Sheller, who will be followed by Ron Thrower. Welcome, sir.
Okay, good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, and council members. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak this evening. My name is Dan Opdyke, and I'm the Vice Chair of the Dawson Neighborhood Planning Team. I want to tell you a little bit about my qualifications for this post. I moved to Dawson in 2002, so I have no firsthand knowledge of the planning process. And I have no education in community planning, no training in community planning, and I've been the vice chair for 3 meetings. So that's where I'm coming from. But, you know, despite my ignorance, I'm not completely clueless. I can tell when something just doesn't sit right. And reopening this plan at 1:30 in the morning just doesn't sit right. Very little evidence, most of which we've already gone over, but I just like to share the evidence I have. Dawson Neighborhood approved the plan in 1998, first neighborhood in the city. Shortly thereafter, the City Council approved the plan and the zoning changes. Later on, the city decided that the FLUM would be required. And so the Dawson Neighborhood Association approved the FLUM unanimously at our meeting this past April. So this is, you know, the way the Neighborhood Association process is supposed to work. At our meeting this past Monday on June 12th, we had many discussions about many different issues. The FLUM did not come up. At 1:30 in the morning on June the 14th at the Planning Commission, with active support from a developer's representative and from a few neighbors, the Planning Commission decided to effectively reopen the Dawson planning process, in my view. The developer and representative and the neighbors were at our meeting not 30 hours previous, and they didn't say anything. So, you know, a lot of people have worked hard on this plan, and I'm not really one of them. I've come a little bit late into the game here, but a lot of people have put a lot of work into this, and not everyone's, you know, 100% happy, like Jerome said. In fact, probably nobody's 100% happy. It's a compromise. That's the way this works. But the City Council and the city staff, I think, have a, you know, an important role here in defending the process, as we see. And this is a question of process, as I see it. And so I would ask you to support Map B, which is what the neighborhood has always supported, and let these changes happen through the amendment process. I'd like to close with just a couple comments on volunteering. As has been mentioned, Dawson had a very contentious process developing this plan, as I've heard, and the thing about volunteers is they're real good about figuring out when they're wasting their time, and nobody's listening to them. So I hope that you listen to the neighborhood process. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Opdyke. Thank you. Let's see, our next speaker is Rebecca Sheller. Rebecca Sheller signed up wishing to speak against. Welcome. Welcome, Em. You'll have 3 minutes. You'll be followed by Ron Thrower.
Good evening. My name is Rebecca Sheller. I'm a property owner in the Dawson neighborhood. I'm a home owner in the Dawson neighborhood. In fact, I'm a homeowner in this area of Ben White that's been colored brown in Map C. I'm particularly concerned about this rather rapid transition that has occurred in the process. I am very appreciative of the Dawson Neighborhood Association and the good government that they have been conducting. I don't know if I mentioned I've lived there since 1997. I would love to participate more in Dawson Neighborhood, but my work schedule is very inhibitory towards making meetings on a regular basis. But I follow the Dawson Neighborhood and their good government quite closely. It's an incredible group of diverse people who have been willing to share leadership very broadly, both with homeowners, with diverse constituents in the neighborhood, and with businesses. At one point, the president of the Dawson neighborhood was in fact a business owner. We're not anti-development, The group is very, very reasonable, very willing to consider alternate perspectives, but it just seems absurd to me that this group of volunteers, this neighborhood has worked for 9 years to try to do exactly what the city said they wanted. They wanted a voice from the people. You've got a great working group. The group has distributed written pamphlets, knocked on people's doors, invited the entire neighborhood. They maintain a website so that it's very, very open process. They developed this FLUM, again, openly, at least over 10 to 12 months. People had many, many opportunities to respond and get into the process and voice their opinion. But instead, what happened is when the FLUM was put forth to the Planning Commission, there were very few entities that went forward to really circumvent this neighborhood process. They had an opportunity to speak at the neighborhood meeting the night before. They had an opportunity. They were there. They had an opportunity to speak to the neighborhood about their development plans, chose not to, chose to go to the Planning Commission, and it's a mystery to me why the Planning Commission was swayed by this, and why the Planning Commission has gone in and made a swath of brown in a lovely neighborhood, a place that I adore living. I just think that good government needs to be open. Everybody needs to give it a chance to respond and participate. And again, I just feel like the Dawson Neighborhood Association has been absolutely incredible. I very strongly support Plan B. I very adamantly oppose Plans A and C. If development is going to go on in my close-knit neighborhood, I want that to go through an amendment process, and I want to be able to voice my opinion in that amendment process. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Sheller.